Hey everybody, we are back. Sorry for the late delay. I would have been back sooner, but occupied by other stuff. But tonight, I am not here by myself. We are being joined by Kori Maru, a member of the Sega Stream team just like me, a fellow writer for the Sega Bits website, and others as well. Kori, if you wish, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Kori Muru. I am a contributing writer for Sega Bits. I'm also the event correspondent. I usually go to conventions. I do coverage for Sega Bits. I also do, um, some content creation on the side as well. Like I um, do playthroughs on numerous Sega games. I talk about like lore videos of your favorite Sega characters through Sega lores. Um, and yeah, I've done a lot of stuff in the community for like a very long time. I used to do an event called Sonic and Sega Fan Jam, which was an event celebrating everything all Sonic and Sega.
A convention I actually heard about, and honestly, I always wanted to go down to, but when I heard that the event was basically done, I was disappointed. But now, if I'm not mistaken, that is the new Sonic Expo Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Okay, which makes me happy because I honestly want to go back down to Sonic Expo in Dallas, but if I can go to Atlanta, which is closer for me, even better.
Yeah.
Uh, But yes, so me and Corey, as much as we love Sonic, we more importantly love Sega's IPs altogether. We
Yes,
love
sirree.
we love Afterburner, we love Sonic, we love the Yakuza franchise, we love Virtua Fighter.
Oh
But
yeah.
there are so many IPs out there that a lot of people don't know what they are, and maybe we'll be able to help out today with this tier list that we're gonna be doing here tonight. So, all right. So a lot of these I have heard of. Some of them I haven't because they're stuck in Japan. They have not crossed over here to the States, sadly. But it is what it is. Sometimes Japan needs to have something else instead of us. So here we are.
Yeah.
So kicking things off, I'm looking at the very top here. I am seeing Seventh Dragon. It
Seventh Dragon.
Yes, if I remember correctly, I think that was a series that is, I think it was on what, the Nintendo
It,
DS?
yes, it was on Nintendo DS, and I believe Reiko Kodama, may she rest in peace, was behind the game as well.
Uh, I never got a chance to play the Seventh Dragon IP games at all. I always heard good things, but what was your opinion on
Uh, I've heard of them, but I've never played them.
them? So that's two. So with both of us, we have never played these, but we know they exist. But
Yes.
knowing that, what would you say about the importance of the Seventh Dragon IP?
Oh, that's hard. That's a hard thing. Like I haven't heard like much from Seventh Dragon other than like seeing it in like Tokyo Game Show announcements. Um, I can't really say.
Mm.
I know it's an RPG. Um, I do remember seeing some like background elements from Dengeki Boko Fighting Climax. It was a fighting game that Sega published. With was I can't remember the developer. I think French Bread. I think.
I think it
Um,
was, yeah.
yeah. Not. I've heard people say like they love the game and stuff. Like I've heard like good things about it, but I've like never like played or um had a chance to touch Seventh Dragon.
We might both have to find time at some point in our lives and try to find like at least a copy for the Nintendo ES and give it a shot and see what we think.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, where would you put the IP? Would you put that at the lowest rank D, or would you go higher than that?
I might go a little higher since like I've like heard good things about it. Let's put that on B.
Okay, we'll put it Seventh Dragon on B, and after that, we got a Sega IP that we know from our childhood, and that is Afterburner. We have
Afterburner.
and we have not seen a new entry since Climax.
IMAX. Yep.
However, hopefully with the revival of all these classic Sega IPs that we're seeing, that we will see Afterburner return to the fold. Hopefully.
um, this is one of Yu Suzuki's and Sega AM2's like masterpiece.
Yes.
I did play Afterburner a couple of times in arcades. I even played Afterburner Climax. AM2 has a good charm. The only downside is that like, it's a quarter muncher and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you die and stuff. You instantly like get a game over. But I do like it's fast paced. The music's really good. Um, it's just it reminds me of like movies like Top Gun, which is like really awesome. So if I would have like put in the tier list, I'd probably put B as well.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. As somebody who grew up playing the Afterburner series, the only one I never got a chance to play was Climax, and it's a shame that a lot of people haven't because it was on mobile devices, then it's gone. Same thing with the PS3 and the 360. Once it was gone, that's it. No one has been able to play it since.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, everyone will be able to play Afterburner one day soon because, God, I miss playing that. And playing All Stars Racing Transform just to play the carrier zone is not good enough. We need to fly the
I
F-16 again.
I would say G-Lock, which is like a successor to Afterburner, that can be played on the Nintendo Switch and like through the Sega Aegis lineup.
Yes,
And the Sega Aegis is like pretty cheap.
yes, it is. So if you haven't picked up that, please do yourself a favor. Please, guys, go out and pick that up. All right, up next is Sega's former mascot, Alex Kidd.
Alex Kidd.
Oof.
Again, Pong.
Man, and Alex is, I hate to say it, he didn't get the love that he deserved when he first came around, and still to this day feels like he doesn't get that love that he needs.
Yeah.
And he's still a good game. It's still a good platformer.
Oh yeah, I agree. I was just playing Miracle World a couple of months ago. I love the atmosphere of the game. I think Alex Kidd's design is really cute, but I'm not like a big fan of like games that allow you to get like hit once and you die. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I like the vehicles. I like the helicopter and the motorcycle that he rides. Like those are like pretty cool additions.
I forget who was the artist who came up with Alex.
Oh man, from the top of my head, I did a Sega Lores video on that not too long ago, but actually it was a couple of years ago. I can't remember the name.
I can't remember the name
seeing an
off the top of my head either, but I just love the art style that they brought for Alex at the time because it stood out at the time over Mario in my book.
Oh yeah.
So Alex Kidd was basically OG Souls-like. I guess you could say in a kind of like a way it was for the 80s. I guess you could kind of say it was.
I like that. That's a good way to explain Alex Kidd.
Yeah, pretty much. I would put Alex Kidd in like B tier, at least personally. Yeah, that's what I would do. What about you?
I would put it same as well, B tier.
All right, we are now looking at Alien Syndrome. Ooh.
Alien Syndrome.
The last entry, if I remember correctly, was on the Wii and on PSP.
Yeah.
And I don't think that one actually got the love it deserved compared to like the classics that we had on the Genesis and the arcades.
I played the original arcade version and the PlayStation 2 remake under the Sega Aegis. 2500. Yeah.
Ugh, I want to get my hands on that. I'm trying to get my hands on all the 2500 copies right now, but oh my god, the prices.
Now, when it comes to like alien type games and stuff, like I don't know about Alien Syndrome, but I do have a thing for like Alien Storm. It's like Golden Axe meets Alien Syndrome. And I feel like that's like the better game. Because,
Definitely
I'm
agree with that. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So,
looking at Alien Syndrome, as good as it was for its time, its name really didn't get out there, and it's
hmm
sadly not one of the more well-known arcade games. But it's still fun. But it wasn't no Afterburner. There was no Altered Beast, which is where we come to the next. But I would say it's like a C in my book.
yeah, I'll give it a C as well. Oh,
And
now
yeah, like I said, Altered Beast. Oh man,
Alter Beast, rise from your grave.
the game that was brought home to the Genesis first with every console. Uh,
hmm
we don't
Fuck
talk
on
about the PS2
PS2.
reimagining.
Oh no, no, no.
I have a copy coming to me. I'm gonna be playing that on stream at some point. But oh my
Oh,
god,
good luck.
oh I know.
Good luck.
But
Oh
going
man.
off the original, not the PS2 reimagining, that was an amazing game for its time in the arcades
Yeah.
and at home on the Genesis or Master
Oh
System,
yeah.
depending if you played on that.
hmm
But
I remember having good memories playing that game.
same here with my brothers, just sitting down, us taking turns if we failed just to see
Yeah.
who get the furthest, and
That game over music like it slaps too.
it still slaps. That's the amazing thing in
Yeah.
my book. I would honestly put that at B for me personally.
Yeah, a funny story, speaking of which, I remember there was this gaming venue where I live at, and this guy who used to work there, like they had like a Sega Genesis hooked on a not VHS, but like a CRT,
Right.
and he asked me if I can play Alter Beast with him because I'm a Sega fan,
Oh,
and we kept playing and playing, and we kept dying against Neff, and
oh,
then this guy would like literally say like, "Let's go again. We can do it. We can make it." And I'm like, "Oh man, it's fun, but it could be torture." But I give Alter Beast a B. Like it's not too bad of a game and stuff. It takes like practice and trial and error.
that it does. As long as you're willing to keep playing through it, you can beat the game. I would say probably within like what 2 to 4 hours, depending on your will to keep going.
Yeah, those transformations are really good too.
Oh yeah, especially
Those
for that
sequences.
time. Trying to do that on 16-bit graphics it was impressive.
hmm Yeah,
But
Makoto Uchida.
mm,
Uh, I admire his ideas and stuff.
oh
Like if you
yeah,
got Golden Axe on the list and stuff, like I
oh
can
yeah.
talk about him all day.
So, coming up now is an IP that Sega recently acquired that everybody knows and has it almost on their phones every single time, and that is Angry Birds.
All right, I'll be honest with you. I have never touched Angry Birds.
I touched it once and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. This is for the new younger kids who are into these type of games. I personally speaking, I have nothing against it, but it's definitely not for me. It doesn't really feel Sega, you know?
yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
I would put it down at the bottom of the list. Put it on the D tier.
Yeah, yeah, D tier.
Let's put that right there.
It's so this next game is this
If I'm not mistaken, I'll check. Try to get the name of it because this is in Japanese kanji. Avalon no Kage.
Avalon no Kage. I'm not sure if I heard of that one.
Let's see if I can pull it up here. Avalon no Kage. Alternately known as The Key of Avalon, it's an arcade game developed by Hitmaker and published by Sega on the Triforce arcade board.
Oh,
This is one of those that I never even knew existed until I was doing research for this.
I never heard of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
I've heard of the Triforce arcade board, like F-Zero GX, and there was like a Star Fox game that was being in the works, but they canceled it.
yeah, which is kind of a shame. I think that would have been fun, but personally, I'm actually gonna add a row below.
But
I'm
like
gonna
never heard of.
Yep, never played. Put that right there. Bayonetta, which
Bayonetta?
let's. I think everybody knows Bayonetta. I think everybody is happy that it exists.
Yep.
But at the same time, you and me, we kind of wish we could play more than one during our charity events.
Yeah.
But that aside, it is a fantastic IP.
Oh yeah, Bayonetta is awesome.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I wish the character and IP, like, yeah, I agree. Like, I wish Bayonetta was on more consoles and stuff. I just wish Sega like utilized their IP, instead of like giving out
Yes.
to just Nintendo, just publishing the game and stuff. Like Bayonetta had potential. I love the combat. I love her like sassiness. The I mentioned the combat and stuff, like especially like when she does like
For
the witch
transformation.
climax. Yeah, the
Yeah.
transformations with her hair and the references Kamiya added in the game, like of his past works, like Beautiful Joe and
Mm-hmm.
Afterburner, Space Harrier, stuff like that. Like that was like geek.
And now we honestly do not know the future of Bayonetta because of everything that's going on over at Platinum Games, the people who've been making
Hmm.
the games for Sega, and we don't know if we'll ever see like 2 or 3 off a Nintendo platform,
Yeah.
which is a shame. I really hope they leave that platform and go elsewhere. But it is still a fantastic IP. I honestly wish people will play it more. A lot of people don't even know that Bayonetta even exists, which I find funny.
That's weird. Like like she was in Smash Brothers. Like I think that's what most people probably know her from now these days, because like Smash Bros. Because like she's infamous for like the witch time
Yeah,
like counters.
which honestly says a lot when you think about it.
Hmm.
So, personally speaking, I think I'll put Bayonetta on the A list compared
Oh yeah,
to
I agree.
not really S tier, but basically on the cusp of S tier. It's
Yeah,
more of Sega basically holding back on the IP, on not letting it go into other platforms.
yeah. I believe Platinum Games this year is celebrating Bayonetta's 15th anniversary.
Yep. So hopefully we'll get your announcement about maybe a port for the other 2 games, but wait and see.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this one, Border Break.
Well, I've played the demo for the console version of Border Break, and it was actually fun. I've only played like the demo, like an online demo for it, and it's basically it's like like one of those third person shooters and stuff, like capture the flag type missions,
Right.
um, or whoever like defeats the most enemies and stuff. Like it's actually like pretty fun. Um,
Did it
I
ever come
wish
to the States though?
no, yeah,
Oh,
I don't think
God.
it did. I wish it came to the States. Like Border Break was actually like a fun game AM2 developed.
Well, we're gonna go off what you say in here, Corey. Where would you put it at?
Since I only played it like once, I'll put it on the B tier because it was actually pretty fun.
Okay. Anime Armored Core from the look of it.
Hmm.
That's not a bad
Yeah.
idea right there when you're comparing something. Yeah. All right, we're gonna head over to Sega's failure here in the United States, but not failure elsewhere, and that's the Sega Saturn. We are looking at Bug. So I think personally, I would say it's a C, maybe a high D. But what do you think?
I'll give it a C as well.
All right, back to IPs that I never got a chance to play either, and I don't know if you got a chance to play this one, but this is Chain Chronicle. It's Chain Chronicle. It looks interesting. It's just once again, it's an IP that was stuck on 2 different platforms that a lot of people didn't really have faith in, and that's
Hmm.
being Vita and of course mobile devices. But where would you put it, Corey? Because to me personally, how it looks and everything, I'm thinking at least a very high D, almost a C.
I want to say a C as well.
All right, let's see here. Well, here's the Sega Dreamcast IP that nobody has seen for years. Choo Choo Rocket. Ah,
Choo Choo Rocket.
I'm
Kapu
thinking
Kapu.
I'm thinking back to when I was playing it on my Dreamcast for the first time, and I'm just smiling now. It was so good for its time.
Yeah.
It I know we got a Game Boy Advance release, if I'm not mistaken. I wish more people played this. It was simple, yet challenging, but it was fun. What are your
I've
memories for it?
I I never owned it on the Dreamcast at first, but I do remember, if I'm not mistaken, there was a mini game that you could download from Billy Hatcher if you find like the little like Game Boy
Yep.
icons with the eggs. Um I remember just playing it on my Game Boy Advance. It was pretty fun. It can get addicting sometimes. Like it helps you sharpen your brain a bit. Like you got to guide the choo choos to the rockets before they get eaten by Kapu Kapus. It's a fun, unique game. If I would have to add it to the tier list, I'd probably put an A.
I
give
would
it an A.
honestly put it as A as well.
Yeah,
More
Sonic Team.
people need to check out Choo Choo Rocket, especially if you're a fan of Sonic Team. Before we go into the next one, I think we're going to jump ahead just one to get this one out of the way, and that is Clockwork Knight, the other Sega Saturn platformer that was put out by Sega.
Clockwork Knight. I just bought that from Japan recently.
Yeah, it was definitely much cheaper.
Oh yeah, it's a fun platformer.
Oh yeah.
I think it was from the developers of like Revenge of Shinobi, I believe. Kind of has that feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets challenging later on, but I do admire like how the level layouts were, and like the boss battles were pretty fun too. If you get a chance to play it and stuff, it's really fun. It can get challenging, but it's a fun game.
I've seen it. I've seen people play it over on Twitch. I have seen YouTube videos on it. It's a fun looking game. It just feels like it's just like a lot of IPs that Sega has. It just didn't get the love it deserved. Where would you put Clockwork Knight? Because I have no say on this one.
Ooh. I want to say I want to put it between an A or a B. Let's put it for B. Let's put it for B.
All right, now back on list here. This one,
Chunitham. I've played it at around 1. It's a fun game. It's very innovative.
Super innovative from what I've seen.
I will also put that on the B tier.
Okay, I can definitely agree with you. Your enthusiasm about it just tells me right away, yeah, it's definitely a B tier. But now we got another Sega game here that never made it across the ocean to the United States, and it's Code of Joker.
Code of Joker.
I've never good things about this. I heard, but one of the things we never got a chance.
Yeah, but I've never played it neither. But I did see like a demonstration on a Japanese stream, and it was so cool. I was like, bro, like, why we don't have this? I will play that more than Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, don't tell Konami that.
No.
They'll be like, "Where's our money going?"
I mean,
Sega, how dare? But it looks so good. It honestly looks so good. It's one of those that we wish we had here in the States. Why they decided to keep it in Japan is beyond me, except for they probably figured it would have cost so much money to get everything put in the arcades and then all the cards and translations. I think it comes down to like resources to do all that. Code of Joker, personally, I would put this, just based on everything we've seen from it, I would put that at least A. But because it's locked to Japan and no one has really played it outside of Japan, I would honestly put it down to B, because there's so much potential there. It's just not being utilized.
Yeah.
All right, now this one's interesting because I'm not even sure if they actually own this one or not, because they don't own Relic anymore, and that's Company of Heroes.
Yeah, I think Relic went their own separate ways, I believe.
Yeah, basically, they gained their independence after, I think it was 10 years with Sega.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Amplitude Studios, too. But as somebody who played the Company of Hero games, has played 1, 2, and 3, I love these real-time strategy games. I know the third one did not get the love it deserved, unfortunately, due to, I think it was time constraints and crunch, but it's still a fun game. Personally speaking, because of the third entry, I would bring it down to C.
Bring it down to C?
Still fun, but you could tell that it definitely needed some more love. back to
Oh,
the
no,
we're at Columns. We're back in the
Yeah.
arcades and the Genesis. Ah, I still remember playing that for the first time on the Sega six pack.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm.
That you when you said Sega six pack, everyone got like. You know what? The Sega six pack. When you said that, like it actually introduced me to like a lot of like Sega's IPs and stuff. It was like not
Mm.
only Columns, you got like Streets
Gold,
of Rage,
Golden
Shinobi,
Axe.
Golden Axe.
Even
I think
Sonic 1 was
working
on
on.
there. So
Yep, I
that
agree.
that was a wonderful idea by Sega at the time, because I don't think it would have really made me look at any other IPs. I loved
Yeah.
it.
What's another thing I want to say about Columns too? Like Columns is a good puzzle game. Chilling music, it gets challenging. I want to kind of compare it to Puyo Puyo, but what I like about Columns is how how it blends with other IPs. For example, like Hanagumi Columns, which is like a Sakura War spinoff.
Ooh,
I
yeah, I
love
heard
like
about that one.
Hanagumi Columns. Those games are fun.
They are
Those
truly
like
fun. They
yeah.
honestly, if I think more people need to play Columns. Yeah, I know some people look at it and think, "Oh, it's a Tetris clone," but when you really think about it, it's more than that.
Yeah, I highly recommend like anyone playing like any version of like Columns, and they'll enjoy it. Columns 3 guy.
Mhm. That cover art, I swear.
Oh yeah.
So, personally speaking, I would put it at a high B.
All right, now we're headed to hey
Come on over and try out some crazy
crazy
taxi.
taxi. Are you ready? Here we go.
Out of the gate, I'm just gonna say, Crazy Taxi's S tier.
It's straight up S tier. Like it's fast paced. You just picking up passengers, doing like crazy drifts, driving like the opposite side of the highway. Like it's pure adrenaline, man. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm happy that like they're actually making like a full fledged game now after that Game Awards announcement.
Yes.
Because the only thing we ended up getting was like mobile games, and I was like, Crazy Taxi is actually like a fun, addictive arcade game to play.
I will admit right here on stream, I was post-streaming the Game Awards officially, and I had a friend with me in the call as we were watching it. I did not expect that. And I
Yeah.
wish I was actually on camera and not my PNG tuber at the time, because I was crying from that announcement, because I was like,
Oh my god.
the day came. The day I thought would never happen. And I was so happy, because we got 5 legendary IPs back just from one announcement.
Oh yeah, it was like honestly, it was like one of the best announcements that the Game Awards has ever announced. Like period.
And
Like
then last year happened.
yeah.
I seen your reaction. I don't blame you one bit, because I was the same way. Uh,
I
but
was I was like I was like extra hype.
oh
Like Dragon Ball Z charging hype, man. Like
god. But Crazy
I'm like,
Taxi, so influential. There's even been clones at now of the game, because even these studios know that this is a winning game right here. If you want to make some money, Crazy Taxi is it.
oh yeah.
So yes, automatic S tier. Looking forward to the new entry. We just gotta wait a few years yet, even though I kind of saw early footage of it. Thanks, Twitter. It's gonna be so fun. Whether you're driving one of the taxis or even playing as a cop for the first time, I can't wait to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Derby Owners Club. We got that and another one that's basically deals with horse derbies, basically on the list. These are, if I'm not mistaken, exclusive to Japan. I don't think these ever came out anywhere else. And the last time I seen either one, I'm not sure which one it is, but when Sega made these games, you're basically going into a giant room that has
Yep.
these monitors that you can just sit down and vote on which horse in the game that you think is going to win, and then it just plays on a giant monitor. And I'm just like, this is insane. But unfortunately, I don't think either you or me have played either of these two games. So
Mm-mm.
we are going to have to put like them on the never played. All right. So with Derby Suku and Derby Owners Club out of the way, we head to one of Sega's acquired IPs, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner.
Devil Summoner.
Mm.
Okay, I'll be honest with everyone on stream. The only Atlas games I've played, and don't hate me for this, was Persona 5 Royale, and I played the Metaphor
Free
demo
Fantasio.
at the Anime Expo. Um, those are the only times I played Atlas. Actually, I lied.
Ooh.
Another Atlas game was a fighting game called Power Instinct.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that's on the list, so don't feel too bad.
yeah, so
But yeah, don't feel too bad. A lot of there's, let's face it, Shin Megami Tensei, the whole entire series is so, there's so many branches to it. It's hard to keep track of what's what with that franchise.
yeah.
And knowing Devil Summoner is its own franchise within Shin Megami Tensei is crazy in my book. I personally have played the PS1 version. I actually still have the PS1 version. Give me a second. Let me go get it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so my PS1 is in a bigger box. However, I do have the Saturn copy in my hand. So, Devil Summoner was the first in the series, but it would also then lead to Soul Hackers. So,
Yep.
the series is, I would say, quite important to the Shin Megami Tensei IP at the moment, but we really don't see Devil Summoner that much. We've seen more Persona and Shin Megami Tensei mainline more than anything. Personally speaking, on Devil Summoner, I want to say it's like a C.
See?
I would say it's a C. It's like a very high C, like near the top. If anybody out there loves the Shin Megami Tensei series and loves Persona, please check out Devil Summoner. Unfortunately, the only way to play it in English is on the Nintendo DS. That's your only way to be able to get your hands on it. So please go pick it up if you can find it for a very good price.
Mm-hmm.
Dinosaur King. Oh boy.
Dinosaur King.
I
I've
have-
heard of it.
I've heard of it myself. Don't know much about it other than Japan, dinosaurs. Here you go.
All right then.
So
What's the
yeah,
next team? Dragon Force.
yep, that is our next one. Dragon Force for the Sega Saturn and Sega Ages 2500 collection.
I heard good things about the game too, but I haven't played it, unfortunately. It's a lot of games.
I hate to be
Yeah.
the one that says this. I have a copy of Sega Ages 2500 for it, and I have not touched it.
Oh.
I feel bad. I heard so many good things about it, but I have not laid my hands on it. I'm like, I'm gonna wait. But then I have to remember, oh, it's Japanese. I'm gonna have a hard time playing this.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
personally, I'm gonna put it in never played for both of us, since let's face it, like we said, we haven't played
Yeah.
it. We know it
Mhm.
exists. We heard so much good stuff about it. We need to play it sometime.
Oh yeah.
Up next, though, is Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown.
If I remember, that was another mobile game. Double check here with my phone.
Was it by Atlas?
I believe so. 2D side scroller, beat 'em up action RPG from Atlas. Yeah.
I think I've seen it. Yeah, I've never played it, but I've seen it.
Looks like we're both gonna have to play it because apparently this came out on PS3, Vita, and then was ported to the PS4 as Dragon Crowns Pro. Ooh, they actually even get a re-recorded soundtrack. Ooh, I'm definitely going to get that to play. So unfortunately, right down at the bottom with so many other IPs. Dynamite Baseball, that's what it says. The logo's so squished, it's hard to tell. So this was an arcade game. If I'm not mistaken, this did have the MLB license for the Major League Baseball. Kind of remember it. I think I played it once, but I don't remember much about it other than it was an MLB game. I'm gonna have to go back and play that one.
I have the Model 2 emulator, and I've seen the name, but I've never played it myself.
And as somebody who does respect Sega doing sports games, I feel compelled to at least give it a shot just to see how it is, see how it plays. But we're gonna put that in never played. Speaking of Dynamite,
Oh yeah, here we go. The
Dynamite
good stuff.
Deca, aka Dynamite Cop, aka the Die Hard trilogy.
Yeah. Mr. Bruno Dillinger, or if you want to call him John McClane. But I prefer Bruno. Bruno sounds cooler. Dynamite Cop is where it's at. For me, I used to play the game with my cousins a lot. I'll give that an S rank.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Mhm.
Dynamite Deca, Dynamite Cop, Die Hard trilogy, if you will. You probably remember this one as well as I do. It was weird. Don't panic. Seaman.
Oh yeah. Now I remember Seaman very vividly, but I never played the game. I've seen videos. I've seen like Angry Video Game Nerd play it, and the Seaman would like say a bunch of like crude jokes, like it's like dumb, silly humor.
It was, and of all people that got to be a part of that game, Leonard Nimoy.
Mm-hmm.
That still shocks me to this day. Like, it shouldn't, but here we are. And just so everybody knows, this was originally a Dreamcast game that got a sequel, and then both games were ported to the PS2 in Japan only. So, if you guys ever have a chance and you see this game anywhere online, eBay, Amazon, or even at like a game store, please pick it up and make sure you have a microphone for it. It's so weird but good. Personally speaking on this, I look at Seaman and I think it's honestly a low B. Seaman was one of those games that, yeah, it was innovative for its time, but when you look back on it, things could definitely be better nowadays with it. Of all games to come across next, we are looking now at Echo the Dolphin. 4 or 5 games that happen in this series, and every single one is, at least it feels different from the last. I could be wrong. It's been a long time.
Echo the Dolphin.
Oh yeah, we're talking Echo. And
I'll be honest. I played the game. I played the games, but I'm not good at them.
don't feel too bad. I think that's how they were designed, just to be like tech demos in my book. Personally speaking, I would put it as a C. Nothing against him. Nothing against the IP. It's just didn't grow on me as much as others have. Okay, the Endless series from Amplitude that Sega actually owns the rights to.
Yep.
Fun games. That's all I can really say. They're fun games. I've played almost every single one in the series.
Oh, nice. I haven't played them. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm gonna have to drag you
Yeah.
along for one of these. They're actually pretty fun.
Okay. Oh, okay. I've seen like the latest one and stuff. That looked pretty cool. I never had like time to like
Sit down and
play
give
the
it a
other
shot.
games. Yeah. I mean, if you recommend me like any good games in the Endless Space series and stuff, I'm willing to give it a try.
I would be willing to do that. But yeah, Endless Space, they are fun games. Basically, what you're doing is going from room to room to get out of basically a dungeon. You're trying to, and there's an invasion per room depending on the situation. And if you die, you just go back to basically your hub world. You don't
Okay, so
basically die permanently and start over.
it's like Gauntlet.
Gauntlet, pretty much. It's a modern day Gauntlet.
Okay. Got it.
I would personally put it at in the B. A low B, high C. Okay, we're at a fighter finally.
All right, Eternal
Yeah,
Champions.
a legendary title that, if I'm not mistaken, Sega actually renewed the IP for recently.
Yeah, they're gonna make as part of their, like, I think Sega Transmedia. They're gonna essentially make I think a film based off the Eternal Champions.
Which is honestly not a bad idea, because if you think about it, looking back at the story for Eternal Champions, it feels like it was something that was meant for a movie.
Yeah.
Where would you put it though? Because to me personally, it feels like a B or a C.
I put it on a C.
I'm gonna put this right behind Devil Summoner. We're back over on the Atlas side of things. Etrian Odyssey.
Etrian Odyssey. I've heard the name.
I actually know the name. It's one of their RPG series that's actually not connected to Shin Megami, which is kind of crazy when you think about when everything else is kind of connected to Shin Megami.
Yeah.
Now, with this one, it's, if I'm not mistaken, this is your typical elves, fairies type RPG. I think it's what this one was. I unfortunately never got a chance to play one, because whenever there was a chance to, it was all because I didn't have the money to pick up a copy, whether it was on PlayStation, on the Nintendo DS, or whatever platform.
Yeah, I haven't played it neither.
Man, we are racking up on the never played side. I think the next one we both played, and that is Fantasy Zone.
Fantasy Zone, yep. Oopa Oopa.
Opa Opa indeed. I love that song.
Oh, that song. He is.
Fantasy Zone is one of the very first few in the shoot 'em ups genre that came out, and honestly, it feels important not just to that genre but to Sega in general.
In general, yeah.
I don't think people would really know the name Sega, at least in the 80s, the late 80s, maybe even further back into the mid 80s, without games like Fantasy Zone and Zaxxon.
Yes.
So, personally speaking, Fantasy Zone to me is a B. It's a B tier.
Yeah. It's a challenging game for sure. But I do like the aesthetics.
I didn't think a shoot 'em up could be that colorful. But Fantasy Zone, definitely something everybody should play at least once. And it's a very important game, not just to Sega's history, but to gaming history, in my opinion. Oh boy.
Oh
We're back to fighters, and this one I know too well. If I'm not playing Street Fighter or Virtua Fighter, I'm playing Fighting Vipers.
Fighting Vipers. Let the action begin. Oh man. I could say a whole lot about Fighting Vipers. Like,
I think you made a video on this series, haven't you? Personally speaking, I think you and me agree. Vipers, S tier.
S tier, straight up.
Now, this one I remember the most because, as somebody who grew up loving Twisted Metal, Full Auto was basically that, just without the crazy characters.
I remember seeing that game.
I do. It was on the Xbox 360, and then it got a sequel on the PS3. It only had 2 games, and I think it also was ported to the PSP, and the game's been dormant ever since. So
yeah,
I loved it, and it was a lot of fun. Granted, it wasn't like an open world car shoot 'em up game. It was actually a race that you had to shoot out your opponents to win. So they took the Twisted Metal formula and basically softened it a little bit. Didn't go too far with the rating, kept it like T. There were explosions, missiles, machine guns, but it was a fun racer slash shooter. I wish more people would have played this. This was actually a fun IP.
Nice.
Personally speaking, though, because let's face it, other IPs out there have most likely done it better. Whole Auto doesn't get a lot of love because it was just simplified Twisted Metal. So I would put it on the
Yeah.
scene. Next one is another IP that was stuck in Japan, but I know this one very well. Giant Graham.
Giantogram.
All Japan Pro Wrestling. As a fan of Japanese professional wrestling myself, knowing that Sega had a hand in making 3 All Japan Pro Wrestling video games, and all 3 starring my favorite pro wrestler, Mitsuharu Misawa, made me want to play them. And I'm glad I actually have Giant Graham 2000 and All Japan Pro Wrestling featuring Virtua. I wish these games... I wish these games came to the States. I hate that they were locked there, but no one in the States would know what All Japan Pro Wrestling is at the time, which is a shame.
I played a little bit of Giant Graham featuring Virtua, like with Jeffrey and Wolf.
Yeah.
Being in the game, and I think the 2000 version was that on Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, that was Sega Dreamcast. And what makes it really unique that it doesn't play like your traditional wrestling game. It actually plays like a fighting game, and it's a fighting game done right. So I recommend this title. I highly recommend the Giant Graham series. Yes, it's only 3 games. I wish they would bring it back somehow. But yes, people need to play this.
Yes, I recommend it as well.
I am going to put that in the A category. It doesn't reach S tier quality, but it is so freaking close.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I gotta scroll down a little bit to get another one for the next list, and that is Golden Axe.
Oh, we putting Golden Axe? All right.
I'm gonna let you speak on this classic.
Okay. It's a fun beat 'em up game. I would say Golden Axe 2 on Genesis is really fun. Revenge of Death Adder is a masterpiece.
Yes.
And then Golden Axe kind of like slumped a little bit with other like spin-offs and sequels. Like
we had Golden Axe 3 that was Japan exclusive, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I played on the Vintage Collection.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as the other games.
Yeah. And Golden Axe The Duel, which was their fighting game. Which
I'll defend Golden Axe The Duel. I think that was a decent fighting game. It was. Yeah.
It wasn't perfect per se, like you expect a fighter that's based on Golden Axe would be, but it was still pretty good for what it was. And then we got the game that came out in 2007.
Oh yeah, Beast Rider.
Yeah, I'm actually staring at a copy right now, right in front of me that I got to stream for charity next month.
It felt like a PlayStation 2 game. It felt like I was playing like Mortal Kombat Armageddon's like Conquest mode.
Yeah.
And I think the beat 'em up stuff and the combat was decent if it was more polished.
Mm-hmm.
The only things I wish it had was more time in the oven and have multiplayer. Like Golden Axe is more fun where you're playing with a friend or a family member.
Yes, definitely. Golden Axe is definitely one of those franchises that is better when you're playing with a family member, a friend, because it just makes it more fun. And just knowing what we actually know about another game that came out the year before this one, it makes me wonder how 2 games from Sega at that point in time could not get the time it needed. Other than, contracts and everything.
Oh, yeah. But I would probably give, like, Golden Axe, since, I grew up with it, like, maybe, like, an A.
I definitely gotta agree with you. It's an A. Fingers crossed on the new Golden Axe game.
Fingers crossed, indeed.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's a fun game at least.
I agree. Because I'll admit, Corey, that's one I would not mind playing with you, especially either on Twitch or YouTube, because it's Golden Axe. Everybody loves it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We are back over on the Atlas side of things with another RPG that they basically made, well, not really made, but published, that Sega apparently owns, Growlancer.
Growlancer.
This started on the original PlayStation and then got brought over to PS2. I have not played the series. I have Growlancer 2. I have a Japanese copy because RPGs are expensive from that era. But everything I heard about the Growlancer series makes it really stand out. Tactical role-playing game with installments on the PS1, PS2, and PSP. This series was developed by Careersoft, and it's owned by Atlas and Sega. And of course, like any other RPG at the time, it takes place in a world that is being taken over by an ancient evil. When looking at the cover art, just like here, you could tell like you're in for like a fun time because it's anime inspired.
Yeah, it does have that 90s anime aesthetic to it.
Yeah. It is a highly sought after series. I know that we haven't had a new entry since the PSP. I recommend it. I haven't played it though, unfortunately, and I wish I could find the time to play Growlancer 2, but I want to go through Growlancer 1 first. Okay, now I think, yeah, this one was another Japanese exclusive. This was Guru Guru Onsen, that released in, I think, the late 90s for the Dreamcast, if I'm not mistaken.
I haven't played it neither.
So, right away, never played. But the next one, I'm pretty sure we both played, which is Hang On, another Yu Suzuki classic.
Oh yeah, Hang On. I love the sequel to Super Hang On as well. Hang On is a fun arcade game.
It really is. But Hang On, I say that's A tier.
Yeah, I agree. It's A tier.
Here's the one that we were talking earlier. Hero Bank. You would know more about Hero Bank than I would, because I never even knew this was an IP until I was making this thing.
Okay, so the only things I know about the IP is I know it was developed by Nagoshi-san, Toshiro Nagoshi.
Oh.
It was on Nintendo 3DS.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken. I've never played the games.
Okay, I think we're looking at one of the older IPs from Atlas. I think it's Atlas who actually owned this before Sega bought it. Herzog. But yeah, it was a real-time strategy game for the Sega Genesis back in the day. I heard a lot of good things about it. I seen G play it. I never got a chance. It was one of those games on a Genesis that I passed on, and I wish I didn't, because apparently it's really good. Worth playing though, if anybody ever wants to check it out.
Oh yeah, we get to the good stuff.
Yep, and I definitely know you recently had a video put on YouTube. You're hyped about the remake getting announced finally for the second entry.
Can I say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
The House of the Dead. Love that series. Oh, okay.
We are officially 3 games in the series. We haven't had a new entry in decades at this point. However, we're getting a remake of the second game. The remake for the first is available. If anybody's interested in buying it, it's on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Go buy. Yep. Seriously, you're supporting the series. Then
I will put it in S tier. Like that's like one of my top Sega games of all time.
I agree. It definitely is an S tier. And if anybody out there is wondering, I think Corey and me both agree that Typing the Dead is not a separate IP, is part of that House of the Dead series.
Yep.
Please play that as well. I'm gonna let you say it. I gotta let you say it.
Jet Set Radio.
Oh, Jet Set Radio Future, and now we're finally getting a new entry in the series after so many years. Oh my god, I am looking forward to the new entry. I know you are. I definitely know you
Oh
are.
yeah, definitely. I enjoy Jet Set Radio's music. Um, I admire the aesthetic with the graphics, like what Sega was aiming for. Um,
They made it
Cell
stand
shaded
out.
graphics, yeah, it really stood out. I think in Japan they call it manga dimension,
Hmm.
but like cell shading graphics like made it stand out. It's a short game, especially the original, but like I admire the rebellious like teens, like the GDs, also known as the Rudies and stuff.
Yep.
They like show their expression with through graffiti and stuff, like expressing freedom. And you got like corporations and police officers trying to like stop everything, which who are like the oppressors and stuff. And I like that theme of like Jet Set Radio. Hideki Namanuga really made some good bangers too, and they also had like other creatives who like made like electronic like techno music and rap, and like it had almost everything. Like it was the game of the early 2000s. Like
The,
yeah, and
I think that what you're looking for is, yes, the game of the early 2000s, but I think the best way to say it was the game of a generation.
definitely a game of generation.
But when it comes to this tier list, I think you and me agree. Jet Set is definitely S tier. It
Yeah,
made an impact
definitely.
like no other I've ever seen since Sonic.
Oh yeah.
Kingdom Conquest. This one is a mobile game. That one I definitely know is a mobile game.
I've played Kingdom Conquest. It was actually pretty fun.
I
You,
honestly know nothing on it.
I had a fun time with that game. Um, I would at least rate it like maybe like it's between B and C. I'll probably put it in C. It was an alright game. Yeah.
Well, I know it's 8:01 for us here on the East Coast, and I know you probably can't stick around much longer, Corey. I know you got other things you got to do.
Yeah, I gotta take care of something. Real quick. Hopefully, it might take a while. I gotta like stop by somewhere.
That
But
is that is 100%
yeah.
fine. Like I told you, we can always pick this up another time and continue this.
Oh yeah, it's been fun so far. I won't mind continuing doing this. Like, there's a couple of other games I see on the list. Like, I really wanna like
Really,
put in the high tier for sure.
I see them too. We'll continue this
um.
another day then.
Oh yeah, sure. You don't mind if I like do a little plug in?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, all right, guys. You can follow me on Twitter, X at Kori Maru. You can follow me on Instagram, Patrick underscore Kori Maru. YouTube at Kori Maru Gaming. TikTok, also Patrick underscore Kori Maru, and I'm also on Twitch as well. It's just Kori Maru.
Yep.
Uh,
I just gave you a
Thank you.
shout here on my platform so people can just click the link to go right to your Twitch channel.
Awesome, man. Thank you so
And
much.
hey,
Appreciate you for having me.
it's always going to be a treat to have you on here, Corey. And like I always say, for me, the Sega Stream team, everybody that does the charity events that I work with, even for things like this, I consider family. You're part of this
Oh.
Sega family with me. So thank you for being here, man.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And I don't know when Sonic Expo Atlanta is, but if depending on when it is this year, I am gonna try my best to get down there and hopefully see you.
Well, I can't really say too much. I guess the only thing I say is like wait and see. Still in the planning phases. Trying to work some things out. But uh, if you guys are curious about Sonic Expo Dallas or Atlanta, uh, you can follow us on our socials. Check us out over there for like more updates on upcoming events. We'll try to keep people updated as much as possible.
Yes, be sure to follow them over on Twitter, and guys, just go support Corey. Wonderful human being, great member of the Sega Stream team, great writer for Sega Bits, and so many other sites. I will catch you next time, Corey. You take it easy. You have a wonderful night, man.
Oh, you too, man. Take care. See you guys later. Matane.
Not today. So yeah, that was Corey Maru. He really helped us out here on the Sega tier list that I've been trying to compile for like the longest time, like of all these different Sega IPs that honestly a lot of people really do not know. And personally speaking, that is a shame because honestly, when people look at Sega, all they really see is Sonic and that's it. When Sega is much more than just the mascot, the blue hedgehog, or as Shadow would say, the blue rat. So do yourself a favor. Go check these out. You don't want to miss out on these.